We now move on to tech news, and no news in this sector today is more talked about than MWC Barcelona 2023. As MWC Barcelona draws to a close, the past 4 days the world has been fleeted with tech on network, 5G, artificial intelligence and more. However, what is the implication of all this tech to Malaysia in the years to come? Will Malaysia continue to just be a user of tech or embrace our place in the world as a creator of it? Astronomy editors Hilal Azmi and Ibrahim Sani shares the final day wrap-up on this most exciting event on location in Barcelona and what this means to Malaysia moving forward. Go ahead, Jem.
Okay, so we are at the vicinity of Camp Nou, the home of Barcelona FC. And of course, you can't talk about Barcelona without visiting the stadium, but generally speaking, that is the idea here. What have we learned from MWC 2023? Today is day 4. We're trying to understand a little bit better about the implications of the mobility world, but what does it mean for Malaysia? So joining us, I bumped into our dear friend of the show, Datuk Dr. Rais Hussin, the CEO and founder of EMIR Research. So Datuk, you were part of the delegation. You also spoke at one of the panels. Maybe you can share with us the kind of lessons and learnings that you have, I guess, internalized over the past 4 days and the takeaways, so to speak, from MWC 2023.
I think there are 3 or 4 major points with regards to what we found in MWC, which may be of relevance to Malaysia. One, of course, for the first time, we saw the emphasis on SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, and we saw how energy become such an important element in the area of telecom and providing telecom services. For instance, in UK, the energy cost has shot up almost 120%, from £600 million, this is in UK, to about £1.4 billion in a very short span of time. So that is one, energy part. In terms of SDG, we found that there are more than 500 billion connected devices, connecting about 8.9 billion people in a short time to come. That's about 59 times the amount of people. That shows there's going to be a lot of devices that's going to be phased out. And can you imagine how many landfills is required to fill up all these used devices? So given the fact that some are focusing on 5G, some are 4G, and some are still in 3 and 2G, it is also essential that how they can refarm and reuse this to minimize the impact of the climate and also on the environment. So these are 3 or 4 important emerging themes. Obviously, 5G has been a big discussion item. There is one session, for instance, where I participated was, is 5G is for everyone? Is 5G meant for everyone?
The answer is no, right?
Obviously, clearly, even the fellow panels have said that, number 1, it is focused to the industries. Number 2, it's focused to businesses who require IoT, very sensitive IoT that's time sensitive and so on and so forth. Whereas consumers, they still prefer to be 4G or 3G. Now there was also some use cases like Rwanda, for instance, distributed with 5G, but they were not takers, 4G/5G, but they were not takers because the entry cost was just too prohibitive until the regulator have to come in and readjust and recalibrate how it's being done. So we also found that the single wholesale network, that's been a very raging debate in Malaysia, is a proven failure. And again, I hope that the powers that be in Malaysia will hear and decide based on data science and economics to move away from single wholesale network to maybe consortium-led network or maybe multiple wholesale network where the telcos are the leads and let the telcos do the business. So it will create excitement in the market. They will raise fund. When they raise fund, the stock exchanges will be excited, and we'll see telecom being one of the key sector in the stock exchange. It also will boost the economy and so on and so forth. So let be the business of telco in the telco's head. I think DNB will be best served to be sold or to be partitioned among the telcos and fast rollout. Remember, each of the telcos in Malaysia, Celcom, Digi, Maxis, U-Mobile, name it, they all have their own base station. And in thousands of them. So the rollout will be faster, quicker, and the back-end support is also very good. And on top of that, do not forget, 5G is not rocket science. It is a software tweaking required on the base station, which is 5G enabled or 5G ready. So this is where I think we need to learn. The last point that I would like to make is that it's sad that we didn't see a Malaysian pavilion, a Malaysian companies taking in a big way. And unfortunately, we have becoming increasingly a consumer, not a producer of technology, producer of things that we used to be very proud of. Obviously, I'm not for the pavilion just for the sake of exhibiting Bunga Raya and flag, but obviously, in the future, I really, really hope that the ministry and the industry will come together and come. Even a country who most of the refugees came to Malaysia just 23 years ago, like Vietnam, had a massive pavilion with massive technology to showcase, and we didn't have any.
All right, thank you very much. Those are very acute observation, and I think we've learned a lot over the past 4 days here. But of course, the story continues on, particularly when it comes to the development of not just 5G, but IoT and the applications surrounding it. We continue to present these kind of information and news on extraordinary.com. This is me, Ibrahim Sani, as well as my colleague Hilal Azmi, reporting from Barcelona. The next time you're going to see us, we're back in KL. Back to you in the studio.